Hi, I'm Zach. Welcome back to my series of videos where I explain what the cards in my deck mean in detail. All of the cards feature characters from my game Monster Garden. Actually, some of them feature characters from comics and other stuff, but mainly they're characters from my game Monster Garden. And so after I made the original deck, I kept adding new cards. So these are some of the new cards I haven't used as long. I'm still figuring out what they mean, but I want to share those in this video. So the first card I wanted to show is the party card. It says savor and celebrate. So the whole game after the 3 levels culminates in a big party where all of the monsters you met come together, and out of 16 monsters you can only meet like 5 or 6 of them in one playthrough. So it's your unique combination of monsters that come together to celebrate your achievements. This card is about finishing things off with a flourish and finalizing those connections, setting them in stone, like all kind of remembering all the things you've done, bringing together the people you've met to really like seal the deal and like be like, that was real, all of that happened, we're going to bring it together and finalize and complete this journey. It's about bringing things to a really beautiful finish, and that even paving the way for like new beginnings, because the monsters form their own little relationships with each other. Monsters from different levels meet each other, and it's also a look back on everything that happened, appreciating how far you've come. So part of it is about like an end of an era, and also like taking the time to look back on what happened and like make sense of it and savor it, not just to like move on without looking back. This is about how valuable it can be to like sit there and make a list of what happened and like thank the people who helped you and accept thanks from them and just celebrate how far you've come. So it's a really lovely card. It's a really nice part of the game where all the monsters come together and you have a party, and they all share their thoughts on what happened, and you can see how they interact with each other, and there's nice music that plays and everything. So it's the culmination of the game, really. And then after the party, actually, there are the secret endings where if you became good enough friends with a monster, they have a special kind of best friend ending. So there's all of those as well. This is actually just like the pre-ending, and those are the true final endings that really depend on what you did. In reverse, this can be about the need to take a moment and look back on how far you've come and to, just make sense of what's happened and finalize those connections, and to not just rush on without thinking. And the process of just looking back and making sense of it can give you new direction for the future and just help you connect a few dots. And so this card is about how important that is. Then we've got the white diamond card, the beginning and end. So in my game, you start on a black background, just in this blackness, and you end there too. And this white diamond kind of represents your portal into the monster garden, which is where the game takes place. So this is kind of the entrance and exit to the game, the beginning and the end to the game. So this one, it's kind of similar to the party card, and that's about beginnings and endings of the cycles in your life, of the phases of your life or stages in your life, either that you're beginning a new one now or finishing up an old one. Kind of like the Wheel of Fortune in tarot, how like there's always a cycle and things are continuing, and all of this is part of a bigger cycle and series of events. It can also be about having a spiritual practice in your life, and that the white diamond kind of represents your like inner core, your guiding force, or however you want to think about it, and giving your time to have no distractions, just being totally, in a relaxed, calm state where you're just focusing on something inside of yourself. So it can represent just focus, like this one light in the darkness, no distractions. So in that sense, it's the opposite of the wild and fun party. It's just really complete simplicity, focus, and calm. So those are two kind of different meanings it has about the beginning and end of an era, or maybe a spiritual practice and taking quiet time just to go inside. The whole game is kind of a metaphor for that, for going inside and meeting your monsters and discovering things and making sense of your internal world. In reverse, it can be really about the need to have this quiet, focused time with no distractions. And in reverse, it can also be about that you're right now in the thick of it. You're not at the beginning or the end. Right now, you're just in the midst of it, and that's where you're at, and that's okay. But like this current situation is not going to totally end, or a new one's not going to begin anytime soon until you just sort this period out or get through this period. Not in a bad way per se. It's just like you're in the thick of it right now, and that's fine. Then we've got the monster fruit card, a nourishing treat. This is about purposeless nourishment, just like giving yourself nourishment and support, or giving other people nourishment and support for no reason other than that you just deserve it. It's like when there's a really nice meal that just pumps you up with energy and satisfaction and contentment. And you don't need a special reason to have that. It's not celebration or preparation, just like we always need that basic nourishment. So this card is about giving that to yourself or others. That's what the monster fruits represent in the game. It can also represent, just that like nourishing, whatever gives you nourishment and like the will and energy to keep on going. It can also represent your basic needs in terms of money, housing, and shelter, and a more literal level, like the things that you need and just gotta have to give you enough basic nourishment to keep on going. Like it's hard when you don't have this level of nourishment. And it can also represent extra nourishment in addition to that, just like you deserve a big meal, give your friends this support, just because we all need that sometimes. So in reverse, it can just be a message of really needing this, not for any special reason. You just like deserve a treat. It can be like treat yourself or treat other people, show other people that you care, just with like a nice, whatever your version of monster fruit is. It can also just represent that you're lacking the resources that you need, and you might need to build up more resources and grow some new monster fruit before you continue. We've got Muuutsch. This is named after the sound designer of my game. I hope she doesn't mind that I'm using her name as the name of a character, and now it's the name of a card that I'm saying a lot. I didn't really expect to be saying the name that much, so now it's kind of awkward that I'm using her Twitter handle as like this word that I am talking about in a video. But please follow her on Twitter. She's an amazing sound designer. She made the voices for a bunch of characters in my game. I think I got the right number of views, but I'm not sure. But anyway, this character is like a sound test, so he repeats back the noises of all the monsters that you've met over the course of the game. So this character itself is kind of just like an empty vessel that like repeats back what you've heard. So this is about kind of being an empty vessel in a sense, in a good way, where you can input and output information with no blockages. It's just like repeat back the things you've learned, like input new skills and output them completely with no blockages or hindrances or obstacles. Learning from example in a good way, just being able to copy what other people are doing, picking things up really fast and not having anything holding you back from like showing your skills and using your skills. But in reverse, this can be about like a situation that's where this kind of rote memorization and rote learning isn't the approach. It's not just about copying someone else's example. Maybe there's no current example, so there's nothing for you to copy. Or maybe it's not the type of thing where just like a multiple choice approach works. It's something bigger than just learning from and copying previous examples. So this is a really minor character in the game, actually. It's like a secret character, so I didn't know if I would include it as a card, but I really like having this card in the deck now to bring in that type of messages to readings. And so those are these 4 cards, kind of some extra cards to the game. And you can see in the party card, there's monster fruit at the party. That's what Foofter brings. So Foofter is the monster fruit card because he's all about gentleness, loving all monsters, and is giving all monsters the nourishment they need, giving all monsters the support and resources they need to make their dreams happen. So it's kind of the UBI card of giving everybody a basic level of nourishing monster treats, monster fruits so you can survive. UBI being universal basic income, universal basic monster fruit for all monsters. That's what he brings to the party if you befriend him. There's Foofter also on the top left. That's like a core part of the party, bringing people together and just coming together over this delicious, nourishing food and finalizing all these connections that you've made and enjoying how far you've come and charging up for the next stage in a sense. At the bottom, you can see all these seedlings on a table that all represent like more further growth and new beginnings and planting new seeds and stuff. Yeah, and then after the party, you go back to the black screen and you exit the game. So then that really represents ending this era and beginning a new one, because the game is all about being replayed my game is meant to be played multiple times because you meet monsters, different monsters each time you play, and you have to play at least 3 times to even see all the monsters. So that's why this is about like cycles and repetition and going through phases and cycles. And it's not just you begin once and end once. It's about every end is a new beginning and vice versa, that kind of message. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you for tuning in. Please check out future videos explaining what the cards mean. I hope it's giving you some extra depth to get more out of my readings. And yeah, I hope you also check out my playlist of readings on this channel and leave any comments to let me know what you think about the cards, about the whole monster card project overall. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.